Eleanor Grace Whitmore, 68, stood in the kitchen of Hazelbrook Orchards, her family's organic apple farm in Pennsylvania's rolling hills. Her hands, worn by arthritis but steady with purpose, still knew the rhythm of kneading sourdough and pruning trees at dawn. For nearly 5 decades, she and her husband Richard had built this life. Orchard, home, family. 3 weeks ago, she buried him, taken by pancreatic cancer after 14 months of quiet suffering. Now alone at the worn oak table where they'd shared countless meals, Eleanor faced a truth sharper than grief. The family she'd nurtured might not be hers anymore. Richard's illness had been a secret, his choice to spare their children, Darren and Samantha, the weight of his decline. "Let them live a little longer without the shadow," he'd whispered, his voice heavy with morphine. Eleanor, out of love, agreed, though she'd long felt their children's distance. Darren, now 42, thrived in Boston's financial world, rarely visiting in a decade. Samantha, 38, chased one failed wellness venture after another, each propped up by Richard's savings, always needing one more loan. Eleanor hoped grief would draw them back to the orchard's roots, to the love that built this place. Instead, the morning after Richard's funeral, she saw strangers at her children's faces, calculating an estate, not mourning a father. The kitchen glowed with sunlight filtering through lace curtains she and Richard chose 30 years ago. Eleanor brewed coffee, Richard's simple blend, not Darren's imported roast, and waited. Her children descended, dressed for a boardroom. Darren in a crisp blazer, Samantha in a silk blouse, hair perfectly curled. "Mom," Darren began, setting his mug down with practiced precision. "We've been talking." Samantha glanced at him, then her. "It's time to settle things, the estate, the business, the house." Eleanor blinked. "Settle?" Darren leaned forward. "You can't run the orchard alone, Mom. The house is too big for someone your age." Her age, 68, still capable of hauling crates to food banks, baking for fundraisers, driving tractors through blizzards. Samantha chimed in, her voice smooth as a sales pitch. "There's a retirement community, Sunnyvale Estates, 2 hours south. Activities, friends your age." Eleanor stood to clear plates, hiding trembling hands. Then Darren slid a folder across the table. "Dad spoke to me last year. He wanted us to take over." The document, on Darren's corporate letterhead, bore Richard's signature, too steady for a man on morphine. "This isn't from our lawyer," Eleanor said. "He was lucid," Darren insisted. Samantha added, "A developer's offering $7 million for the land. You'd be cared for." They wanted to sell the orchard, erase a lifetime of harvests for cul-de-sacs. Fury rose in Eleanor, steady as the fire she'd once used to chase a fox from the chicken coop. "Show me the will," she said calmly. Darren hesitated, then pushed the papers forward. "I'm going to bed," she said. "We'll talk tomorrow." But she knew there'd be no real talk. They weren't grieving. They were executing. That night, sleepless in the bed she'd shared with Richard, Eleanor listened to the farmhouse creak and the wind brush the apple trees. The sounds were home. Her children's silence was foreign. By morning, Darren's bitter coffee filled the air. Downstairs, they waited, coats on, a packed suitcase by the door, not hers. "We packed essentials," Samantha said brightly. "We thought we'd drive you to Sunnyvale today. Just to look?" "I'm not going," Eleanor replied, pouring coffee. Darren checked his watch. "The paperwork's done. We close with the developers next week. You can't stay." "This is my home," she said. "It's ours," Darren snapped. "Dad left the business to us." Eleanor saw him clearly. Not the boy who trailed Richard through the orchards, but a man who saw her as a liability. "I need my medication," she said, stepping away, "and some photos." Upstairs, she gathered her pills and reached behind a medicine cabinet panel, retrieving her passport and birth certificate. In the closet, behind Richard's flannel shirts, she pulled out a fireproof box containing the original deed to 20 acres, land in her maiden name, bought before marriage, holding the orchard's only water source. Without it, no irrigation, no development. Downstairs, she let them think her defeated. "Ready?" Darren asked. "Sure," she said, letting Samantha take her arm. They drove past blooming fields, the school where she volunteered, the library where she read to children. But instead of the highway to Sunnyvale, Darren turned onto a remote county road, stopping by an empty field. "This is where you get off, Mom," he said casually. "The house and business are ours." Samantha's smile faltered. "Darren, what?" "She'll contest the will," he said. "This is cleaner. There's a gas station 5 miles up." He opened her door, and they left her with a suitcase, dust settling in their wake. Eleanor stood, wind tugging her coat, clutching the suitcase. She wasn't broken, she was free. She walked, not toward the gas station, but to town, her flats grinding on gravel, purpose solidifying. In her purse were her ID, passport, medication, and the deed, her lifeline. Those 20 acres, Richard's just-in-case safety net, were her leverage. After 2 hours, blistered but unbowed, she reached Miller's Gas and Grocery. Ray Miller, who'd known her for 30 years, stepped out. "Mrs. Whitmore, you all right?" "Just resting, Ray," she said. "Been a long day." He eyed her suitcase, offered the phone. She called Harold Jennings, their lawyer. "Naomi, I've been trying to reach you," he said. Darren presented a will. It didn't match Richard's last update. "I need your help," she said, "and your discretion." "My office, 1 hour." At Harold's Victorian office, Eleanor shared everything: the fake will, the roadside abandonment, the developer's deal. She handed him the deed. "This is gold," Harold said. "With the water rights, the developer can't move forward without your consent." The will Darren presented was a forgery, Richard's signature too clean for his final days. "We'll challenge it," Harold said, "and freeze the sale." By noon the next day, an injunction halted the orchard's transfer. The developer, learning the land was incomplete, backed off, their lawyers scrambling. Samantha texted that evening. "Mom, please call.
We didn't know about that land."
Can we fix this?" No apology, just panic. Darren called Harold, demanding control, but was met with legal barriers. "They miscalculated," Harold said. Eleanor nodded. "They forgot what I'm made of." Eleanor didn't return to the farmhouse. She rented an apartment above Hazelbrook's bakery, its balcony holding a rocking chair and herbs. Mornings smelled of cinnamon and bread, hers now. She taught quilting at the community center, led gardening workshops at the library, sharing her knowledge with young farmers and retirees. She donated the water rights to the Hazelbrook Agricultural Cooperative, ensuring the orchard's legacy for new farmers, not developers. Darren and Samantha faded from her life. Their deal collapsed, reputations bruised. Eleanor didn't gloat. She chose peace, not bitterness. The orchard bloomed untouched. Passing it on walks, she smiled, her strength quiet but unshakable. She'd been cast aside, underestimated, but she'd reclaimed her voice, her home, her worth.